The 300-mile long cross-country flight is a key aeronautical experience requirement for anyone who wants to be a commercial pilot. It requires a flight of at least 300 nautical miles with landings at 3 points and one leg at least 250 nautical miles point to point. I'll actually log over 6 hours of flight time and almost 700 nautical miles round trip as I complete this key flight. The first leg of my flight will be the longest one, 254 nautical miles point to point from Pompano Airport to Craig Airport in Jacksonville. My stop in Jacksonville will be quick, just long enough to top off the airplane with fuel, grab a cup of coffee, and stretch my legs before heading south on my next leg to Vero Beach, where I'll fly an instrument approach and make a full stop. My stop in Vero Beach will be a quick one, and I won't have time for lunch at CJ Cannon's. I'll be on the ground just long enough to reprogram my GPS before flying a familiar route home to Pompano. Before leaving the house, I got a standard weather briefing which I'll summarize. VFR along the route of flight, convective segment outlook, but otherwise no adverse conditions. The Disney World TFR won't affect me, but the Mayport Naval Air Station TFR will. Section C authorizes deadly force. Wow! But don't worry, because I'll have ATC authorization and a discrete squawk code. The flight is a go. It's a gorgeous morning, and I'm headed to the airport. The airplane has already been topped off with 48 gallons of fuel. I'm going to go ahead and hop aboard, start pre-flight, and get ready to go. I'd like to be wheels up no later than 9 o'clock. Clear! The next step is to load my already approved IFR flight plan into the Garmin 430, waypoint by waypoint. Once I'm done, I'll call ground and pick up my clearance. If there's any changes, I'll make updates in the GPS and in ForeFlight. Top of the ground, good morning. Cherokee 30877 is on the ramp with Information Sierra, looking to pick up our IFR clearance to Jacksonville Craig, Kilo Charlie Romeo Golf.
Cherokee 30877 popping on ground. You're clearing to Charlie Romeo Golf Airport via radar vectors to Shank. Then as followed on departure, climb and maintain 2000. Expect 6000 10 minutes after departure. Your departure control frequency is 126.05, squawk 6634.
November 30877 is cleared to Kilo Charlie Romeo Golf via Shank, radar vectors Shank, Tango 208, Foxham, Seabag, climb and maintain 2000, expect 6000 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 126.05 and 6634 on the squawk for 30877.
Cherokee 30877, read back right. Advise when you have information at Sierra and you're ready for protection.
Will advise, 877. Pompano ground, Cherokee 30877 is holding short of spot 2 with Information Sierra, ready to taxi IFR.
Cherokee 30877, Pompano ground, runway 10 taxi via Lima. Cross runway 6 at Lima. Report round complete this frequency.
Taxi to runway 10 via Lima, cross runway 6 at Lima, report run up complete this frequency for 30877. Heavenly Father, may you bless me
10 via Lima, cross runway 6 at Lima, 245 back.
Good decisions, good weather, beautiful views, safe airplane.
Cherokee 30877, Pompano Tower, wind comms, turn left, heading 280, maintain 2000, runway 10, clear for takeoff.
Cherokee 3087 is clear for takeoff, runway 10, on departure, turn left heading 280, 877.
Cherokee 877, traffic to northwest is a Diamond Star on the downwind front 0 at 800. Contact Miami departure, good day.
Looking for that traffic and over to departure for 877. Miami departure, good morning, Cherokee 30877 is out of 1,500 for 2,000, heading 280. As instructed to climb to 6,000, and then departure is going to switch me over to Palm Beach Approach.
Number 30877, contact Palm Beach Approach 125.2, have a good day.
Over to 125.2, good day, 877.
I've crossed Shank intersection and I'm now in contact with Palm Beach Approach. I'm going to follow Tango 208, which is GPS Airway northbound. I'll follow that for the majority of my flight today. From this point forward, I'm going to be on somewhat of a north-northwest heading until I reach Clef intersection, which is just over Indiantown. At that point, I'll turn to more of a northerly heading, and my route will begin to take me back out towards the coast. If Tango 208 is the highway in the sky, GPS intersections are like the on-ramps and off-ramps. This portion of my flight will keep me well west of the Palm Beach metro area, and I'll also be flying at an assigned altitude of 7,000 feet. This is a long flight. I'm using a paper nav log to track the time and fuel burn between each of the waypoints and compare that to my actual flight plan. So far, I've been pretty close with all my calculations. I've crossed Clef, and now I'm at a heading of 342 degrees, heading towards Wixit intersection. This flight will cross several ATC sectors, and right now I've been handed off from Palm Beach Approach to Miami Center.
Miami Center, good morning. Cherokee 30877 is at 7,000. Direct to Wixit.
Number 30877, Miami Center, altimeter 3008.
3008 for 30877.
I'll stay on this northeasterly heading until I cross Wixit. At that point, I'll make a left turn, which will take me to a northerly heading, and I'll fly parallel to the coast. Mid-90s down on the ground. Up here at 7,000 feet, the outside air temperature is just below 70 degrees. With the air flowing through the vents, it almost feels like I've got air conditioning.
November 877, clear at Dinby.
That instruction allows me to skip 3 waypoints, saving me time and fuel.
877 is cleared direct to Dimby. 877.
Flying on this heading direct to Dimby will allow me to intersect the coast just a bit south of Melbourne International Airport.
Number 30877, contact Orlando approach 124.8.
Over to 124.8 for 877. Orlando approach, good morning. Cherokee 30877 is at 7,000, direct Dimby.
November 30877, Orlando approach and altimeter 3010.
Altimeter 3010 for 877.
This portion of my flight will take me right along the east coast of Florida, and I should get a good view of the Kennedy Space Center as I pass through Cape Canaveral. I'll also fly over Daytona Beach and St. Augustine before turning back inland. The Kennedy Space Center has been the launch point for almost all of America's space missions since the beginning of the space program, starting with Gemini all the way through the Space Shuttle. Today, Elon Musk's SpaceX launches their Starlink satellites from this facility. My route was going to keep me to the west of Canaveral, but due to skydivers in Titusville, I'm actually going to be vectored out to the east. At times, this is a restricted area, but with no Starlink mission, it's not restricted today. As a result, I'll get to fly right over the Space Shuttle landing facility, the 3-mile-long runway where the Space Shuttle used to land. They started using this facility for landings in 1984, and a total of 78 Space Shuttle missions have landed here. Prior to that, they landed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. Passing north of Canaveral, I'll get to fly over the coastal cities of New Smyrna Beach and Daytona Beach, before flying over historic St. Augustine, America's oldest city. Coming up on my right, St. Augustine was founded in 1565 by Spanish explorers. For a time, it was controlled by the British, then the Spanish again, and finally ceded to the U.S. in 1819. Like most cities on the east coast of Florida, it was heavily influenced by Henry Flagler and the Florida East Coast Railroad, and today it's a popular tourist destination. I'm now beginning my descent into Jacksonville, and I've been cleared to proceed through the Mayport Naval Station TFR. I'll be making a visual approach to runway 23, and off my right wing is the city of Ponte Vedra, the home of the PGA Tour's Players Championship and TPC Sawgrass. This has been a pretty spectacular flight so far, and I'm looking forward to the return leg. Although I'm on an IFR flight plan, there is no instrument approach to runway 23, so I'll be making a left base entry and then a visual approach and landing. The airport is a few miles outside downtown Jacksonville, and as I'm turning base to final, I can see the skyline off in the distance. I've been blessed with some really good weather and some amazing sights on this leg of the flight, and this approach into Jacksonville didn't disappoint either. Clear to land on runway 23. and I'll be dealing with a little bit of a crosswind from the right as I touch down. Now that I'm on the ground, it's time to taxi over to the FBO. The airplane needs fuel, and I need a cup of coffee. Well, I need to get out and stretch my legs. I want to make this a quick turnaround. As always in the summer in Florida, there's a chance of thunderstorms popping up in the afternoon, and I want to get back before the weather has a chance to turn. I'm holding short at runway 23, waiting for my IFR release and takeoff clearance. The airplane's topped up with fuel, flight plan is filed, and run-up is complete. The weather should be good on this leg to Vero Beach, and then I'll have to keep an eye out.
Take off, ready for 1, Cherokee. Let's go take off on YouTube.
I'll be climbing out to the west, and that'll give me a good look at downtown Jacksonville in the distance before I turn south on course. The route home will be almost identical to the route that I flew south, at least until I get to the Melbourne-Vero Beach area. I'll be cruising at 8,000 feet, which will not only keep me cool, but it'll keep me above the clouds for the most part. Although I will get to log a little bit of actual instrument time on this flight after all. Once I was south of Daytona, I was instructed to descend down to 4,000 feet. That'd take me through the cloud layer, and then I'd end up actually flying below it. So get another look at Cape Canaveral and the Space Shuttle launch facility. This time the view would not be nearly as good as it was on the flight north. The radar was also showing precipitation in the Melbourne area, so now is as good a time as any with the autopilot set to grab a quick lunch. I'd experienced precipitation and instrument conditions from Melbourne all the way into Vero Beach, and I'd get to fly the RNAV runway 12 right approach into Vero and log it. After a quick turnaround in Vero Beach, I'd fly a familiar route home to Pompano via Dowdy, Tango 345, and Market intersection. As I got closer to home, the weather would become a factor. There was a stationary thunderstorm cell about 10 miles west of the field. I was cleared to fly the RNAV approach to runway 15, which would have me approach from the northwest. ATC told me that it was simply heavy precipitation along the final approach course, but my eyes were telling me a different story, and I rejected the approach. I've been keeping an eye on things, and I also had 2 hours of fuel, so I wasn't worried. I could hold out to the west till the storm passed, or I could divert to one of a number of airports with better weather. They vectored me around the storm to the south, and then had me make a visual approach to runway 15. With clear weather south and east of the field, I had plenty of outs and it was worth a shot. While the pictures look rough, it was a pretty smooth approach and a great way to end a long day of flying.